Hello and welcome to another Drive-In Double Feature. I'm Ryan,
I'm Nathan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before getting anything at all, we have a Patreon over at patreon.com/ Drive-In Double Feature podcast.
Hmm.
Nathan, I was at my local television store,
Yes.
getting
Yeah.
a looking at all the TVs at the television store, where it's just outside of the building, just as like TV.
Yeah, it just says TV, and then there's like windows out front where you can watch like
Yeah.
various newscasts.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I that's where I go and watch all my TV. Like that's where I go watch all of our movies. Like
Yeah.
I asked them like, can I put this movie? And I just stand outside the window and like watch it with like a big heavy winter coat.
I was gonna say it has to be cold outside. That's the only way to watch movies on the window in the store in a store
Yeah.
marquee. Snow and everything.
Yeah, but as somebody was watching, they're like, it's like, man, like this TV is looking so clear, just like how clear my mind is after I subscribe to the Drive and Double Feature Patreon. It's got some fun games, some fun conversations, just a good old fun time over there that I just gladly give my $5 a month to. And they said, I hope Ryan and Nathan know how much we appreciate them. And I said, I think they know.
We know. We
And
know.
yeah, we know. And then anyway, it doesn't affect any regular content whatsoever. But today, we're talking about 1992's Stay Tuned, and that is directed by Peter Hyams. We've done a Peter Hyams movie, have we not? Didn't we do a Peter Hyams movie?
Give me a second to look that up.
No, no, we did not. I'm a liar. I'm a filthy liar.
Yeah,
But
but he has made quite. No, we watched his directorial
busting.
debut. Yeah, busting. Yes, but he's
Yes,
made a
I
lot of
always knew that.
movies.
I knew
Oh,
that.
you were just
Like,
testing me.
yeah, I remember our busting episode that we got all that acclaim for.
Hey, I remember Busting. There's a lot of movies that
I,
like I've
I
forgotten
know.
about by now. Busting sticks in my mind.
It's good. But we're
Mhm.
not talking about busting today. We're going to be busting out. Stay tuned.
Oh yeah.
And this movie is stars John Ritter and Pam Dawber. Now, I actually thought it was kind of clever, like, because they got two well-known people from sitcoms in
Yeah.
this movie, and they made them the stars. So, John Ritter, of course, from Three's Company, and Pam Dawber was Mindy in Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
And basically what happens is that John Ritter's character is like obsessed with watching TV, and like so much so like they say like the average American watches like 7 hours of TV a day or something like that. He's like, well, my dad has them beat, as like as the kid says.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I want to bring up right away is that the kid in this movie is the narrator for like a couple of minutes, and then at the end of the movie I'm like, why is the kid the narrator? He's like barely in the movie.
Yeah, I forgot to. Like it was the end of the movie and I was like, "Oh yeah." Like, it's not something you think about, I guess. I don't know why they did that. Just this maybe that's like the setup for him watching so much TV because there is no like explanation. I feel like a lot of movies would give a reason, right? Like why he watches so much TV. This movie doesn't really give you a reason other than work sucks. But the kid you need the kid to be like, "Yeah, my dad watches a lot of TV." There you go. I don't need to talk anymore.
Yeah, that's I was kind of wondering if they were gonna like explain it at a certain point where it's like, oh, I watch TV because I've gotten so beaten up at work and like I have no motivation, and TV was the only thing there to comfort me or what, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But no, it's just like TV is cool and I love watching it. It's just
Yeah, I love sports. My wife keeps getting in the way of my sports.
he
Yeah,
watches but he never it's never like he just watches sports. It's like he watches everything.
yeah, whatever old Humphrey Bogart movies on, he watches it. He watches the game, but yeah, it's literally anything to the point where like and we'll get into this a little later. He'll watch weird stuff on TV just because it's on. He literally like that's a joke we've seen a billion times just on the show where it's like over 1 million channels and nothing to watch. He doesn't believe in that motto. Over 1 million channels and too much to watch.
No, he doesn't have enough eyes to watch TV. That's
I
his
know.
problem.
Yeah, when Picture in Picture came out, I got to know how excited he was for that.
Uh, but yeah, because of this, because of his extreme TV watching habit, him and his wife are on the rocks
Hmm.
to the point where she is going basically like, I'm leaving you, like packing my bags, going out the door type of
Yeah,
mad at him.
but he's like so
And
oblivious. He doesn't even realize she's leaving the whole time because he's watching TV.
he's watching so much TV, she literally has to turn off the TV to say, like, I'm leaving you. And he's just like,
Hmm.
honey, do you mind turning the game back on? Like, the game is on right now. Like, can't we have this discussion later?
And then she breaks the TV. Oh, can you believe her? The villain of the movie.
Yeah, for real.
Oh
Eh.
God.
But no, it does lead to our big supernatural element of this movie where Jeffrey Jones, the devil, who also
Hmm.
plays a devil,
Hmm. Kind of
and
a apt pairing.
you didn't catch that, did you?
No, I did not.
I said Jeffrey Jones,
The
the devil, who
devil.
also
Oh,
who also plays a devil in this
nice,
movie.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, no. But yeah, no. Jeffrey Jones, unfortunately, is in this movie who
He's in so
has
many
done.
movies. It's hard not to see him. A lot of
Yeah,
classics.
but yeah, Jeffrey Jones is a terrible person. That's all you need to know. But yeah, he plays the devil in this movie named Spike,
Hmm.
and the thing he likes to do is he takes people who are like obsessed with TV and puts them into the television world, and they have to basically compete in these games in order
Hmm.
to win their soul back because that's like a contract that was made between, or like a treaty or something that made between like heaven and hell.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a whole treaty thing. I kind of wish they went into it more. It's surprising how little that stuff plays out in this movie. At least I feel like the devil stuff, like because there's a whole plot line with an intern that comes in, and the
Yeah.
intern is kind of wanting to go for the role, but is also like, I hate, it almost feels like it's going to set up a plot where he's a rebel. No, he becomes the main guy at the end of it, I guess. They don't really say if he did. He's just like, I'm in control.
Well, Nathan, that character is actually my favorite character because he says, I specialize in Kurosawa and Spike Lee.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did say that because he's a film school student. He says, "Where's the subtext?" If you should have said Tarantino. I guess it's a little early to say Tarantino.
What? I mean, like what Dogs like had just came out pretty much. And
When this was filmed, it probably wasn't out yet.
yeah, so I mean, they probably saw, that My Friend's Wedding or whatever that movie, that
Yeah,
short
the
film he did.
Lost movie.
They're just like, yeah, this guy is going places.
I
I cannot wait till
specialize in Tarantino, and no one knows who he is.
I
Mhm.
specialize in Tarantino and
And I'm trying to think of somebody else that like nobody would have known at that time. I don't even
yeah,
know. Ben Affleck.
there you go.
Uh-huh.
What a combo. But anyway, um, yeah, so what happens is he gives him like a special TV with a special remote, and he's like, "Oh my God, I get all these like channels for free." And he's like, "Yep, all for free." And then he goes outside because like he's like, "Oh, the satellite dish is acting up." And his wife goes out there to just yell at him some more. And then
Hmm.
instead they both get sucked into the TV world, and they get sucked in, and they're immediately implanted into a game show.
Yeah, where they're like locked up in the chair, and I think it's called "You Can't Win" is the name of the
Yeah.
game show. But it's just questions about their life. I feel like the joke could have been a little bit better because this movie goes for it's kind of a TV parody, except like the stuff they're actually in, I don't feel like is that good of a parody. The best parody stuff is the commercials that show when they're not on TV.
That those parts are legitimately my favorite part of the movie. It's just
Totally
because
agree. They're actually
I
funny.
there's like some very pretty genuinely funny ones,
Hmm.
like the guy who he's in like a nursing home. He just goes like, and just like falls over, and she's like, different strokes.
Yeah, that one got me. I thought that was good. Yeah, and that's funny. Like, I don't know, like I feel like it needed more of that flair in like the TV stuff, because in the TV stuff it just feels like John Ritter just kind of hops from genre to genre, not really TV to TV show to TV show, because they make a joke on God, the one where he's in Alaska. What's the name of the show they're parodying?
Northern overexposure.
Yeah, Northern Overexposure,
It's
was what it's called.
it's about a guy that's cold all the time and complains, and he dies of frostbite.
Yeah, which that's funny, but then like they don't actually do a parody. They're just in the cold and that whole sequence, right? Like I feel like it should have been goofier.
That when he said that line, that made me laugh
No,
though.
that was funny because it's like a doctor who complains about everything or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just yeah. I don't know. I feel like I might be ragging on this movie a little bit. I actually didn't hate it or anything, but like I feel like it could have been funnier, I guess, especially when you have someone like John Ritter, who's legitimately he can be really funny.
Oh yeah. I mean, he, like you said, probably like the actual plot of the movie is not as good as like some of the parody bits, but
Uh-huh.
like um I did like actually I didn't mind this movie at all. I thought it was
Mhm.
pretty, I mean, not like amazingly entertained, but I was pretty enthused by it. So
Okay, yeah. I think as I went along, I started to like get a little tired of it, but I have a soft spot for it. It's not like it's bad. It was entertaining. It had a little bit of a spark. Also, it didn't make its budget back, so instantly I like it because it's an underdog movie. So,
oh
uh
yeah, well then that means it's like practically an independent movie at that point.
exact A24 needs to pick this up for a remake. That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
Um
supposedly it was getting an adaptation of a television show, but
That's not a bad idea. I feel like it would work in a TV show. You hop around from show to show, Quantum Leap style.
it's Quantum Leap.
Oh, sorry, we only talk about movies here.
I
Yeah,
don't,
all the TV references.
I've never watched a single TV show.
Oh, never, not even for this podcast.
Well, I mean, if you watch an episode that's about as long as a movie, that counts as a movie.
Oh, gotcha. So, like, when Disney used to do like, oh, we're packing 3 animated episodes of a show together and calling it a movie. That's a movie for you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
I, I watched you watch three different sitcoms in a row. That's one movie.
3 different sitcoms. I would love to see you try to connect the stories of them. That would be fun.
Maybe
I-
for another time, but yeah, yeah, that's they do like the game show, and they kind of just reveal that like they basically don't love each other anymore, like on the game show, and
yeah, because I think it's like the question's like, oh, which of you are dating former lovers? And then the answer is both of us because we're not in love with each other anymore.
yeah,
Which is
and
probably the most depressing thing I've heard.
yeah, I was like, oh wow, okay, and then, but they end up going to different locations. Like they go into a wrestling is one of them where
No wonder you love this movie.
yeah, well, they did. There is a wrestler in this movie because the ring announcer was Captain Lou Albano,
Oh,
so I
okay,
recognized.
Mario.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I
Mhm.
recognized him right away, and then I was upset they didn't get like real wrestlers. Like, why wasn't Hulk Hogan in this movie? Where's Lex Luger or Sting?
Or The Rock or John Cena, the
Well, he
Insane
was there. You
Clown
just couldn't see him.
Posse. Oh, nice, nice. The good one, good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a
but
kid in the
the,
background wearing camo.
one thing I
Mhm.
still don't like about a lot of like wrestling adaptations, like in like TV shows, especially when they do wrestling incorrectly.
Yeah, yeah. I could see
Like
that.
there's this is supposed to be a tag team match, but at no point do they ever do a proper legal tag. In fact, there's
Um,
many points where John Ritter and Pam Dawber like tag
Hmm.
on the ropes, and that should have been a tag. That should signify a tag. And then there's another point where they just knock out the guys on the opposite team instead of pinning them or submitting them.
Oh, gotcha. There's no KOs.
Not unless it's specifically specified.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I guess I didn't notice. See, if that's the inside baseball, when you know something, I feel like it can ruin movies for you. Like if you know a lot about something, like I feel like it can, like most movies, I feel gets things like that wrong, and it just serves to make you upset.
Well, this is a little side tangent, but it was when we went to go see Iron Claw,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, I knew like the fact that I knew like the how this whole movie was going to play out beforehand, and
Uh-huh.
like, what'd you think? And I'm like, oh, they forgot to mention one of the brothers, and you're just like, oh, you're joking. I'm like, no, like there's
There's a whole
legitimately
brother
like a whole,
missing.
yeah.
Yeah, which I can't believe they did that still to this day. No, because I think about a podcast I listened to where they had a guest on and they watched Goodfellas. And the guy was complaining about the guns they were using in that movie because it was a year off. Like the guns were like made a year after or something. And I was just like,
Uh,
come on. You're nitpicking. This is like, okay, the brother one, I don't think that's nitpicking. That's like a legitimate, like, wow, they just forgot a whole person.
it'd
Complaining
be like
about
if
the guns, I don't know.
it would have been like if Henry Hill was not in the movie or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, no, he was just never there
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, no, didn't exist. Kind of like this movie based on a true story, right?
Oh
Or or
yeah.
or I should say the
Well, what?
TV. Oh, go ahead.
Well, yeah. It click.
Click. Yeah, I love Click. But Click was in real life. He brought the remote to real life, and Christopher Walken was the devil, but he's
Well,
not the devil.
also based off of a true story.
Yeah, it happened to me once.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. That was based off you. Okay.
It was, yeah. I went up on my boss's desk and farted in his face with time paused. It was
When
fun.
you're 11 or
Yeah, yeah, my boss. Yeah, more like my school teacher. Um, uh,
anyway, we're getting way off.
yeah, we're going off on this one. It's a
But I mean, like, but the thing is like, so when they go into this world, I mean, it's just different skit after skit after skit instead of there being like a real plot thread or anything like that. Like, I don't really think at any point do they like find like they don't really have like any emotional or character growth in any of these sketches. It's just more so like here's us in this funny situation type of thing.
yeah. It never feels like anybody quite grows. But yeah, it's kind of like the writers are like, I've got a bunch of funny concepts. This is like what's on TV. Let's do it. There's even like a huge, like really long animated sequence, which I read Chuck Jones is the one who worked on that. And it's a
Right.
Tom and Jerry parody where they're both like rats running around. Uh,
Sure.
yeah, which I don't know if this one quite hit me as funny, but I guess it was cool. I thought it was well
It looked
animated.
the animation looked good, but I didn't think it was very funny. Like this is probably like one of the sequences that was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Which I thought the one like that came after that, the noir one, I thought that was a fun idea, which that's more of a parody of movies than TV, but I guess reruns.
did you notice when he said like, hey, you're pretty sexy for a mouse or whatever?
Yes, yeah, I clapped and cheered. It was kind of weird, actually. Yeah, because they're
Uh,
both sitting on the couch together. Yeah. And
yeah, he's just
he
like, oh, hey,
what's the little rat from that like the
what?
animated rat, you know, there's like it's like Tailspin, there's like the rat girl that I feel like a bunch of people like
Oh, from Rescue Rangers,
Rescue
Gadget.
Rangers. Yes, Gadget, there we go. She looks just like, he's like going home, he's like, damn, she looks just like Gadget, my waifu.
Maybe he did. Maybe he. I mean, he probably watched Rescue Rangers.
I'm sure he flipped by it a good amount of times.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's one
Um,
sexy rat.
probably. But um, anyway, the other plot thread, the other like side plot of this movie is that the son is like this like real big tech whiz,
Hmm.
and he notices his parents are missing because they're like, oh, well, maybe like they went on vacation together, and he leaves his bike outside and it gets
Hmm.
sucked into like the satellite dish. And then I think this is a pretty big leap. He watches like a TV show.
Hmm.
He's just like, oh my God, that's my bike. Like that's my bike in
I
this TV
know.
show.
And
I was
he
like,
called and
he's
he
like, no,
called
that's just not any bike. That's my bike.
it needed like a name tag or something on like a license plate or like something. It's just a
Well,
bike.
what's I would have thought like it was going to be something like, oh, like and the spokes, like my favorite baseball card is
Uh-huh.
there, or like you said, it's going to be have like his vanity plate with his name on it
Yeah.
or something.
It's
But it's
he calls his sister down and his sister's even like, that's just a bike.
I would have said the same thing to him. I'd be like, that's a bike. Like,
I got it. This is a little bit of a tangent, but I think the whole family has TV ties, by the way. That son won a daytime Emmy. He's a soap opera actor. He's like in a ton of soap operas.
like
Yeah.
after this or
Oh,
like,
yeah, after this. So like he wasn't TV before, but he'd go on to be TV. So was the other daughter, let me get her name, Heather McComb. She would be in a few TV shows, but she was married to James Vanderbeek for years. Which he's a TV guy. So there's the connection. Um, I don't know. The
wow.
sister, I don't know what her accent is all about. I don't understand how she said things so weird, right?
Did you notice like her insults were like so weird?
Yeah, they
Like
were
the
so
like
like
she called he first one was like you called him like a dweebnik, and I'm
yeah,
like dweebnik,
dweebnik.
and then one was like puss head or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and then like so he like tries because the like she goes out there with her little cheer friends and they go out and like do a cheer, and he's like, oh my God, they need to stay away from the satellite dish, they're gonna get sucked in, so he sprays a hose at them.
Mm-hmm.
She chases him and catches him, and then she says, you're pizza topping, and I'm like,
That
I
one was so weird. What
weird.
does that mean?
I think what it means is my guess is there's meat on pizza, dead meat, you're dead meat.
That's a leap.
That's
That's a leap.
that,
But yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah,
that's
no,
my guess. But when I
so
heard that,
weird.
I was like, "Oh, pizza topping? What?" Like,
Yeah, such an odd character. But she sees her parents on TV at that point. Which I forget at what part they were at because oh,
it was the Humphrey Bogart bit because it was
okay.
like because they were looking at like a newspaper or something,
That's
and
right.
it's like, oh, that's right, that's mom or whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, and then that bit's kind of fun because I guess we didn't explain it. It's not a huge part of the story, but there's like another family that gets sucked in at the beginning of the movie, and that guy's wife dies from a Godzilla-like monster. And he becomes a mob boss in the TV world. And it,
He
it
doesn't want
that
to leave.
yeah, he doesn't want to leave. And then of course somebody with a Tommy gun comes in and shoots up the joint that they're in.
Now, did they? So if you die in there, do you just like go to hell, or
I don't know.
or
Probably.
did, or is it just like if he stayed there, is that just like he could just stay there forever, like just be a mob boss for like for eternity?
Yeah, like yeah. So like
Uh-huh.
can people is that like the Matrix where the guy is just like he wants to be in the Matrix and like that's it? Like when you die in the Matrix, do you go to hell? Do you go to heaven?
You go back into the
Yeah,
Matrix.
do you just repeat Matrix? Oh my God. Wow, that movie so deep. I've read like 5 books on the Matrix, so uh
I read an article that said it was great, so I took its word for it.
oh, so you don't need to see it.
Yeah, I don't need to see it.
Hmm.
Uh,
No, and it's too late. If this movie was made in 2001, it would definitely have a Matrix parody in here.
oh, for sure they would have done like the bullet time effect and like the slow mo bullet, John Ritter,
They
like
that sounds like a bit. That sounds he would I could see it in my eyes. I think yeah, he was alive for the Matrix, so maybe it's in there somewhere.
oh, like like 3 or 4 years after The Matrix came out, like that thing was in like every
Yeah, everywhere.
comedy.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
Every comedy, video games, whatever. Bullet Time was in. And then they made the
but
sequels and they ruined that legacy.
true. But going in, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of different skits all kind of put together to make it a pretty entertaining movie. I wouldn't say it's anything amazing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I do want to add, I did get, I was thinking, I was like, are they going to reference Three's Company or one of the other shows?
I
Like,
thought the
I
same
kept thinking,
thing.
and they do reference Three's Company because one of the scenes John Ritter falls into, it's literally Three's Company and he's playing
Yeah,
his
it has the
original
theme
character.
song, which is
It does.
crazy. It's not even like a beat around the bush kind of parody. It's like actually like he's stuck in the TV show. I thought that was a fun touch.
And so
And
does he like watch Three's Company and it's like, oh man, that guy looks just like me.
yeah, yeah, I think so. Or I mean, he screamed, so maybe he doesn't like Three's Company at all.
Wait,
Like he doesn't watch it.
maybe he's like John Ritter in disguise and like he like that's like a John Ritter like gave up. Maybe that's why he watches so much TV because he gave up all of his fame
Hmm.
and like he's doing this like 9 to 5
Yep.
and once he falls into Three's Company, he screams because he's like, "Oh my God, I'm repeating
I don't
my
want to
time
be
in Three's
back.
Company."
Yeah. Yeah, and then hopefully he didn't fall back into Clifford the Big Red Dog. That would be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, or if he fell back into the spinoff after Three's Company, like Jack's Place or
There
something
was
like
a
that.
spin-off. I didn't know that.
Yeah, where like
That was
John John
some oh go ahead.
yeah, like there was a spinoff afterwards where Jack Tripper, John Ritter's character, had his own show.
Oh my God. See, there we go. That's what the spin-off show that's what they needed to reference. Something really weird from his filmography. Oh, it's Sling Blade world. John Ritter's in Sling Blade, which hadn't happened yet, but still.
He fell into 8 Simple Rules and then he died.
Oh God. It's funny because that's all I think about when I see him. Because I was like, I remember learning about that as a kid, and I didn't really know who he was, but like I remember being kind of sad hearing about that.
Oh yeah, I remember that bit. I mean, because I'd watched Three's Company at that point, and
Hmm.
I remember being like, "Oh wow, he just died."
We just had a heart attack on the show. Sad because like here, I think he's fun. Yeah, I think this movie. I don't think it's amazing. I recommend it if you're kind of interested. Don't go out of your way to see it, at least in my opinion. I think it was fine.
Yeah, I agree. I got I got some pretty hearty chuckles out of
Mhm.
some of the parody bits for like
Yes.
it's just them flipping through channels. Um, like I said, there's some stuff in there that I just thought was dragged a little bit. Some of the jokes just didn't land for me, but for the most part, I had a good enough time where I would give this movie a very light recommend. It's just, like I said, it's just entertaining enough to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. A light recommend for stay tuned. Hopefully this will stay tuned in my memory. We'll see.
Sure. Totally terrific. Well, we're going to change channels here, Nathan, and we're going to see what's going to be on our TV guide for Tuesday. And what will that be?
Well, they're showing something from 1958, a classic. Let's see. It's the Bonnie Parker story. Okay, all right, let's do it. That's airing next week, so stay tuned for that one. But Ryan, what comes on after that?
Oh, well, of course, that's how movies all air. They air in chronological order. So on Thursday, they'll get to 1959 after they play all the 1958 movies. And just so you know, it's going to be The Hound of the Baskerville, which is a Sherlock Holmes movie. But I will specify again, it's the 1959 version
Yeah, you
with
have to hunt around
Christopher
for
Lee,
it.
with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. It's free on YouTube right now. But if you have any thoughts and opinions, please email us over at drivein doubleFeaturePodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow the Patreon at patreon.com/drivein doubleFeaturePodcast. And check out our YouTube channel as well, Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. But until next time.
Until next time.